We start, as always, with Coach Gundy and Oklahoma State coming off a tough loss to TCU. And it was just such a bizarre game. But when I think back about it, you start adding up the guys that you were without in the second half, it reaches a point where it gets pretty challenging, I would think.
It does. And on media this morning, we get so many questions, but we can talk around it or we can just tell the truth. And the truth is that we have some limitations. We know that. We have 3 freshmen playing in the offensive line that are giving us unbelievable effort. And Rye Snyder's playing at center, and Rye is beat up. You know, he was beat up last year, and he played his best game. And our freshmen, 61, 70, and 74, those guys played really good for who they are and where they're at in their career based on TCU. You and I talked about this last week. You can put on TCU's games and the teams that play them. Offensively, the receivers are not running open very often. There's not very many rush yards. So the matchup for us offensively against them in this game was not as favorable based on the youth we have up front. So I'm really excited and appreciative of the effort we're getting from those guys. And then when we lost Tyler in the last, quarter?
Quarter, yeah.
The other team knows that. So
Sure.
They were playing a corner under and a safety over on him most of the time. And they could stop doing that and then allow another guy to play the run. So it's really simple math in how those situations present themselves. Defensively, we had the same setup as we did against Tech. We had 70 plays or so, played really good for 60 of them, gave up 4 or 5 big plays. So it's a simple answer for our defense. We have to be more consistent and minimize those big plays. We gave up too many big plays. Gave up another short yardage where we got out of position and the quarterback was faster than we thought, and he ran for I think it's 4th and 1 and ran 40 yards for a touchdown.
Right.
So offensively, I was pleased with the way we played based on our matchup, okay? We had some contested throws that we didn't make the catches on. The throw catch, whatever you want to call it. When you play against TCU most of the time, it's almost like an NFL passing game. There's not a lot of space between their defenders and your receivers. There's going to be contested catches. Just think about the last 10 years we've played them. Mm-hmm. The catches down there, right? The ones that we made, Chris Lacey made over the shoulder going out on the 1-yard line. All the ones out here at home. We only made one of those catches, okay? Then we had a couple of untimely penalties, for lack of a better term, that were the difference in that game. So defensively, we gave up too many big plays. We have to clean that area up. Offensively, we didn't make contested catches, and we had some untimely penalties. And that's where we got into the position that we're in.
And it's obvious after the last 2 second halves how valuable Rodarius Williams is. I mean, he's missed the last 2 second halves, and that's when a lot of the big plays seem to have happened.
Rodarius is a potential NFL player, and we play a lot of man coverage, and he can play man coverage. He can play against their best player. When he goes out, some of those things change, right? So that's a fact. So you're in more zone, which is okay, and then you're challenged man coverage-wise more so. With the youth that has to come in on that side of the ball. So when people ask me, I just tell them the truth. I've been doing this a long time. When 13 comes in and 25 comes in and 4 comes in and 6 come in, you're looking at the second wave on defense. So that's not really unusual. You go back and look at where you're at on the offensive line, those guys, that's the third wave of guys that come in. There's a big difference there. That's why your learning takes more. So Trey Sterling going out didn't help us either.
Right.
He directs traffic back there. He's your quarterback on defense. He gets everybody going and adjustments and things like that. So, but we played good. We competed. Here's what we asked the players to do. Give us great effort and be enthusiastic about playing football. You go watch our game, our guys play with great effort. To struggle offensively like we did the last 3 or 4 possessions or 2 or 3, and the defense go right back out and steal the ball away, that's extremely difficult. And our guys did it and gave us another chance. And we did the same thing against Tech. So I'm pleased with what we're getting. My job is to understand youth and understand immaturity, and then understand effort and how we progress as a staff. Our staff has done a good job with where we're at. Need to clean up a couple things here and there, which is normal, and then just press forward.
And you were talking about getting the ball back. Amen. Abamba forced 3 fumbles, recovered 1. I mean, that's unheard of.
I mean, to do what he did, I came in Sunday morning early, like always, and graded all the tape. It's a good story. I was done grading the tape by 7, and at 7:09, my youngest son came walking in. Well, I don't think he's been up before 11 since COVID. So I had no idea. I thought something was wrong. He comes walking in my office at 7:09, and I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I want to know what was going on, what happened in the game." And I said, "Well, it's too late. I already graded all 3 phases. So you missed it. You should have got here about 5 o'clock." But the point being is that when I explained it to him, I went back because he wanted to see certain things. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, I get it." You know, he plays football, so you get it. So my job is to evaluate everybody on the effort we're getting, the coaching, the game plans, and I'm happy with where we're at. I just wish I could fast forward some of those guys. I can't do that right now.
We'll take a break, come back. When we return, we preview the regular season finale at Baylor. Stay with us.
Give the gift of fun to everyone on your list with in-store assembly and free curbside pickup. Make this Christmas brighter together with Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Do you have butter lettuce over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
you so much.
You bet.
Okay.
Just try a little bit here.
Hey, Jay, can you grab that?
We'll get right on it.
Thank you. I know how much you guys love tomatoes, so I have stories to tell you about these tomatoes.
ADM milling is really a part of the fabric of the Enid community. So if we were to have lost them, it would have been more than the 70 jobs that they employ.
OG&E, the City of Enid, and the Enid Regional Development Alliance were all great to work with. Not only does it allow for the growth of the new mill, but also the power is there to make that happen for the future.
Back with Coach Gundy. Before we get into Baylor, let's look back at the kicking game. You missed 2 field goals and an extra point. How surprised were you by that? Brady Pohl is the second string kicker because Alex Hale's done for the year.
Right.
But what about the kicking game?
Well, Alex was an unfortunate situation. My first time in 35 years in being in college football, 30 so as a coach, that had a kicker that had a serious injury in pregame warmup, and one that was playing pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was getting consistent with him. And then Brady comes in and does good in the OU game, and then struggled a little bit since then, and really struggled at TCU, and I don't know why, but we left, 8 points on the board? And those things make a difference. As soon as you miss an extra point, both sides of the ball start changing in how you call plays. Do I go for 2? Do I not go for 2? Now a touchdown beats you by 1 point. Okay, now 2 field goals put you in a different position. Then you're going to go for 2 in the second half. So those are big issues. Sometimes you're going to miss field goals. Okay, but I wish we had made one of the 2.
Right.
And then if you make the extra point, then at the end of the game you just kick a field goal and tie it. You don't have to go for 4th and 11.
Right.
So there's a lot of ways to look at it, but I know this. I know Brady's trying as hard as he can, and nobody wants to make him more than him. Okay? So he's the guy. We get in a PAT, we get in a field goal situation, that's who we put in. We put our faith in him, we believe in him, because he's working hard and he's doing everything he can. Not trying to miss those. So it's just part of the development process when you have a player that's in there who's young and he hadn't played much.
What are your impressions of Baylor?
Well, Baylor is a lot better than their record shows. Okay, if you just go back and look at where they're at, played pretty good last Saturday night against a good team. Was ahead of Texas Tech all the way up until 2 minutes to go in the game. I just watched the Iowa State game. Was ahead of Iowa State until the middle of the third quarter, and then with 5 minutes to go in the game, it was 38-31 in Ames. I think they lost to TCU 33-27 after being behind 30-0, and lost a game to Texas by maybe 8 points or something. So, and beat Kansas State a few weeks ago. So, what they look like to me is you have a head coach that didn't have spring ball, didn't have summer conditioning, had whatever we call our preseason this year because of COVID. And as the season has gone on, they've started to come together pretty much as a team, and they're playing better now, in my opinion. He's had more time with his team. His staff's had more time with his team. That's what I see. Offensively, they throw the ball quite a bit. Some of those numbers can be skewed a little bit because they didn't have their running backs against OU, so they threw it a lot, I think 56 times. Whether they want to throw it 56 times or not, I don't know. And then defensively, they're running the same system for the most part that he used at LSU. They're overloading the box, saying we're not going to let you run it, and playing some quarters, some quarter halves, and some man, blitzing about 15% of the time defensively.
Stay with us. L.D. Brown would like to be sitting in this studio at some point, doing this job. His story is coming up when we return.
You need more layers, diagonal layers.
I got it, Ron. Thanks.
Leave him alone, Dad. Oh, honey, you should use ice blocks instead of cubes.
No, Bud Light Seltzer goes on top.
Diagonal layers.
Did you pre-chill the Bud Light lemonades?
Need more ice. And diagonal layers.
I mean, if you're gonna do it right.
I don't need my hands getting cold.
Why don't you try using the Plumsky method?
Brings out the citrus notes.
Dad?
Gotta crush the ice, son.
Okay, I'm out.
What's his problem?
Whenever packing the cooler really matters, there's a Bud Light there.
Living with joint pain. Take the first step at mercy.net/cowboysortho.
Trusting the process can often be difficult, especially if things aren't necessarily working in your favor. It takes a special kind of athlete to not give up during those trying times and to ultimately persevere. And there's no better example of that than L.D. Brown.
It's just being patient, man. Just never give up on the process. I always trust it and just say, man, your time's gonna come.
For L.D. Brown, that patience is paying off. This season, as a redshirt senior, L.D. is seeing the most playing time in his college career.
Credit to Chuba, credit to Jay Hill, credit to Chris Carson, guys I play behind. They're all in the league. So it was an opportunity to learn from those guys, not bitter, not put your head down and like just mope or whatever. It's just, life is what you make, and my mentality has always been positive.
That mentality has gotten LD through some difficult times.
CPS was in my life a little bit, just growing up with, like I said, I don't have a relationship with my parents like that, and it was just on some stuff going on. The police was in and out of my life a lot, and from a young age and growing up as an adolescent, teenage years, I just had to go stay with other family members, and I stuck with my aunt, who's my dad's sister on my dad's side of the family, and it was just her and his mother, my grandmother. I call her mom to this day. I just had a real close relationship with them, so it's just stuck from there.
LD signed with Oklahoma State in 2016, but he didn't see the field much in his first few seasons in the orange and black. He easily could have transferred, but instead, he stuck it out.
And just being here, listening to Coach Joe, listening to Coach Glass, and just listening to just the adults here, they really helped me grow as a person to know that, man, when the going gets tough, you ain't got to run off. So just stay around, just see what happens. And you see the opportunity present itself of I'm doing good now, getting a little recognition. And I never would have got that if I probably would have ran away. Because, like, you never know how the grass on the other side now is always green. I've always heard that as well. So I just stayed the course, honestly. And it worked out for me, or I think it's working out for me. And hopefully at the end of the season, it's going to be all worth it.
While some may have doubted, LD's family never stopped believing in his dreams.
And I told him, I said, but let me tell you something. I told you your time is coming. And he said, what do you mean? I said, remember I always told you that saying, God never comes when he called? I said, but he's an on-time God. And he said, yeah. And I said, your time is coming. Your time is coming. And he called me the other day and he said, guess what? And I said, what? He said, my time is here. And I said, see, I told you. I told you it was coming. It pays off. Hard work pays off. It pays off.
His hard work has paid off. So far this season, LD has rushed for 395 yards on 70 carries, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. And his family couldn't be more proud.
Just the smile on their face it lights up my spirit, man. They tell me every time they talk to me after a game, baby, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Keep doing it. Keep going. Keep going. Like, every time, like, my brother sends me snaps or anything, like, if I'm doing a play, I hear my grandma in the background, go, go! Like, so that just gets me hyped up, man, just to see she's 70 years old still cheering like she's 20-something for me, and she's my biggest fan, so, and her and my aunt, and it means a lot to me.
We're screaming, we're losing our voices. It's exciting, and I have every video on my phone. I come to work bragging all the time. And he tells me all the time, you gotta stop, you gotta stop. He hates people bragging on him. He hates it, he hates it. He's always been like that since he was a kid. He hates people bragging on him. But I love it. I got every picture, every news ad since he's been in high school. Ever since he was in Pee Wee football, I have everything.
Even though things took a little longer than he might have hoped, the thought of giving up never crossed LD's mind. And he credits Oklahoma State for never giving up on him.
And it means everything, family, loyalty, I just became such a better human being just being at this institution for 4 or 5 years. I've learned so much, being able to communicate, my emotions, everything, just what I don't talk about to people. I became such a better man just being at this institution, just hearing from individuals, learning everything as a whole has shaped me to when I leave this place, I will be such an amazing adult, I feel like. And that's a testimony to Coach Gundy, his staff, and everything else.